Before we get going with the episode, I want to give you guys a quick heads up about our PowerTech summer programs. This year, we're going to do something a little bit differently, rolling out a collaboration with BioSteel Sports Academy and PowerTech, obviously all powered by BioSteel. These camps are going to be hosted at the Academy facilities at Central Park Athletics in Windsor, Ontario, and you're going to be in the same environment that Coach Andy and I are training athletes all year round. Each camp is going to run Monday to Thursday and have all of the elements that we run through with our academy. You're going to have on-ice sessions, off-ice sessions, video and mental performance, and then obviously a game between the teams. We're keeping it tight with just 2 teams per age group, so that's going to be 34 players total, 9 forwards, 60, and 2 goalies. And here's the dates. We're going to have the 2007 to 11 girls elite program running July 21st to 24th, the 2011-2012 boys running July 28th to 31st, and then the 2008 to 2010 boys running August 4th to August 7th. This is going to be by application only, so visit powertechhockey.ca/contact to send in your application. All we need is the player's name, date of birth, and their 2024-25 team, plus any other information that you think would be useful for us to know. We're putting our best into these camps and keeping it highly competitive. So again, if you want to apply, head to powertechhockey.ca/contact, and we'll see you guys there. What's up, guys? Welcome back. I had some really great responses on the episode we did last week with Brian Wilsey, who runs player development with the Colorado Avalanche. So thanks to all you guys that left comments and sent us messages and emails about that. It was awesome. If you missed it, definitely go check it out. Like I said, Brian works with the Colorado Avalanche, and it's not often that you get somebody that works in that capacity at the NHL level breaking down development in a way that's really accessible for players. I thought there was a lot of valuable insights there, even though we only got to chat for a little bit. So definitely go check that out. I'm going to keep the content rolling from the Matterhorn Fit All Ivy Showcase in Florida that I did a couple weeks ago. I'm heading down there again in another 2 weeks to go to the All Ivy Futures event, which is a little bit of a younger age group. This time it's going to be in a different capacity. I'm going to be there as a prep coach. So I'm going to be coaching one of the teams and part of the roundtable discussions, which will be pretty awesome. It's not often that you get to sit alongside some of these NCAA coaches and programs, as well as other top prep programs across the continent. So I'm really looking forward to being a part of that in kind of a different capacity when we're there in a couple weeks. So back to a few weeks ago when we were kind of chatting about the All Ivy Showcase and getting some really great content there and talking to some unique guests. I want to kind of keep that rolling into this week. I did a lot of reflecting about it, like I said, over the last couple weeks now. And one of the other things that really stood out to me, and I'm going to kind of pick out some of these highlights as I keep releasing some of this content, specifically with the coaches, is how dialed in all of these coaches were, not just from an actual coaching perspective, the systems that they run, and all of that, hockey specific type stuff, but more so how they carry themselves. These guys they're sharp, they're fit, they have high standards, and the way they communicate and connect with the players, honestly, it was very refreshing to see, and something that I really respect and try to do with my own coaching style and how I interact with the guys that I'm with every day. So it was really nice to see that, the high level programs are kind of doing the same things. One of those coaches was Matt Gilroy. He's now the assistant coach at Harvard. He's the defense coach, does a lot of the defensive systems. And maybe he's a player that you've heard of if you follow college hockey. Maybe he's a guy that you've kept track of or followed his career. If you don't follow college hockey, this could be a guy that maybe you haven't heard of. Either way, he had a pretty wild story. He played in the EJHL, which is a junior league that no longer exists, before he moved on to a walk-on at Boston University, ended up becoming a Hobey Baker winner and won a national championship with that team. So pretty distinguished college career. He moved on to play over 200 games in the NHL, and now he's helping kind of the next wave of players navigate, what it takes to succeed at one of the best academic institutions in the world, being Harvard. So this is a guy that, still exemplifies a lot of those things that I kind of was just mentioning or touching on with some of these coaches that I noticed. And we didn't have a ton of time to talk. He was running around coaching one of the teams, but I was super appreciative of him taking just the 10 minutes that we spoke for getting some of this content, because he packed in a ton of value, especially around what Harvard kind of looks like through their recruiting process, which might be really interesting for all of you guys to listen to. He also touched on some player identity things and creativity, how to find quality information and some of the resources you're looking for, and what it takes kind of to stand out, even if you're not necessarily the perfect prospect type player on paper. So this was kind of a quick conversation. Like I said, a lot of these pieces that I got from Matterhorn were quick because these guys didn't have a ton of time, but I wanted to make sure that I could deliver some value for you guys from a bunch of different perspectives, players and coaches at these super high levels that normally you guys won't have access to. So let's get into it. Matt, thanks for coming on, man.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
So is this your first year being at the event?
First year, yeah. First year college coaching, and known Ryan my whole life, but first time being part of the event.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So this was my first time coming down too. What were your kind of like initial thoughts? I know it's only been the day and a half, but kind of what are your thoughts on it so far?
I've seen it online, but it doesn't do it justice when you're down here. I've known Ryan since I was probably a mite. He was a little bit older than me growing up in Long Island, but not surprised that him and Kate could put something together like this.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your playing career leading up into coaching. You told on the panel thing yesterday, you were talking kind of a little bit about your story, which I thought was awesome.
I think I have a crazy story. I'm kind of these kids' position. I aged out and was doing all the showcases, trying to get noticed, and finally, my last year of juniors, I got on the EJHL, which is no longer, but I had a great coach. I think that's huge to play for a guy who's going to support you and call schools for you, not just send random emails, but a guy who's really going to advocate for you. And Coach Sweeney at the Walpole Stars did a great job my last year. And my last year at juniors, BU was in the rink, and I had a hat trick. And kind of from there, I was a forward. They needed a practice defenseman. Chris Bork had left to sign with Washington, so I became friends with Borky, and I thank him all the time for leaving. So there was a spot open at BU for me, and I was able to walk on as a practice. The promise was that if I could walk on the first year, if I played well, maybe they moved me to forward. And I kind of just ran with the opportunity as a defenseman there, playing for the legendary coach Jack Parker, the Terriers. And I sat 4 games and then kind of ran with the opportunity after that. And things kind of steamrolled after that. Played really well, played with some really good guys there. Great coaches, David Quinn, who's been in the NHL now, Mike Davis, supported me and playing for legend Jack Parker. And my senior year, I was the captain, won the Hobey Baker and the national championship. So it was a special trip. And then that week I signed with the New York Rangers. So it was a pretty special week.
How long were you playing pro after that?
I played 5 years in the NHL and then 4 in Russia and 1 in Switzerland.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So you've kind of been around the world, kind of, at least from a playing perspective, before you got into coaching. And then what was your track back getting into the coaching side?
Got to see the world, got to meet everyone from Russia. You travel and through different countries, and Switzerland was great. My last year, got to represent my country in the 2018 Olympics. Got to play some world championships. And then I came back. My wife was living in Los Angeles, kind of retired, doing absolutely nothing. And she kind of told me, you got to do something with your life. I'm 36 years old. So tried the business world. COVID kind of shut it down. I came home after a few interviews, and why not get into hockey? And I talked to some friends, and they got me in touch with the U.S. development program in Plymouth, Michigan, and was able to coach there for 2 years. Great experience. You get to work with the best kids in their age group of the 06 I was with for 2 years. Got to learn about coaching, development, everything. And then last year I took the step into college hockey at Harvard University.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's your role with Harvard now?
So Harvard, I coach defense in games. I'm in control of like the defensive zone, defensive play, and the PK, and help with recruiting.
Cool. So I guess in all your years of playing and now going through coaching, what have you noticed about how the game is developed? I noticed like yesterday, everybody, and even this morning, a lot of the coaches talking, it's about the speed, how fast it is. But more from a recruiting standpoint, what are some of the things that you think stand out with the young kids that you guys are looking at today, and maybe in terms of a strength, and then maybe something that you think is missing or lacking with some of these kids that you're looking at?
We're in a unique position at Harvard. We need academics and good hockey players. So the first questions we ask are, how are your grades? Let's see your transcripts and your test scores. Like we need SAT, we need ACT. So kind of eliminates guys right away. We could be in love with the player, but if he doesn't match up with our academic standards, we have to move on pretty quickly. So the pool gets a little smaller for us, but there are a lot of good guys in hockey that take care of their grades and stuff. So we kind of, when we're on a recruiting trip, that's our first thing is we got to find out grades and test scores, and then we select our pool from there. But now we're looking for Coach Donato at Harvard. He's always had an offensive team, kids who can play fast, think the game, want to be good, get better, and develop. And those are the kids we're looking at showcases like this. Can they play fast? Are they creative out there? Do they want to play offense? And I think Coach has had a great structure for 20 plus years at Harvard. He's developed a lot of NHLers have come through the program, and yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for.
Yeah. What does recruiting look like for you guys? So you obviously being in the unique position at Harvard, when you're going out and looking at kids, what's your, first of all, how involved are you in the actual going to the rinks to recruit process? And then second, whether you are or aren't, what does it look like when you go to the rink? If you don't have a particular player necessarily that you're there to see and you're just kind of watching the game, what are some of the things that maybe you look for?
I mean, the first guy, so I look a lot at the defenseman. If a guy can make a first pass is huge. If he's trying to go end to end every play, like that's not going to translate to college and pro hockey. Like I want to see a guy who can move a puck, jump in seams, deliver pucks to the net, break pucks out, defend with his feet. You got to defend now. The ECAC hockey, it's really tight hockey. There's not a lot of room out there. So guys who are willing to go win a battle in the corner, things like that, I'm looking for on the defensive side. And offensive, we're looking for guys who can support the play, who can drive pucks down deep, make plays, make those tight plays in front of the net, around the net, find a late guy, a defenseman, like not scoring goals every single shift. We would love guys that, but that's not realistic. But guys who can play a team game and play with some pace.
So my last thing, I think for you being at Harvard and then maybe reflecting on your own playing career, what do you think looking back, maybe like what was your favorite moment through all of that time for you personally? And then my second question is going to be what is your kind of favorite thing about the position you're in now as a coach, being involved with like some of these kids?
Yeah, I think about all the games. I got one of my best memories is my first college hockey game. I had no idea where this journey was taking me, but I got to play against the U.S. national team. It was an exhibition game, 4 games into my freshman year. I had never played a game on defense, and I got thrown out there and just kind of ran with it. And it was just good memories. My parents coming up, getting to play at Aganis Arena for the BU Terriers was a great accomplishment in itself, and then just being a part of it and be able to run with it has been great. And then I got into coaching. Like I had a lot of good people who helped me along the way, a lot of people who believed in me and taught me things and supported me, and hopefully I can do that for a handful of kids each year or a group of guys. Like I'm just here to help, and was able to live it and make hockey my life and could still do that. So I'm very grateful for that, and hopefully I help a lot of young guys along the way.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, this has been it's been awesome hearing you and like the other coaches kind of share some insight, and hopefully the kids that get to be a part of it feel like they're being educated. It's not just a fun weekend, but they actually get to learn a lot about the different programs, right?
Yeah, I think that's what Ryan's big message is. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and it's hard for kids now. There's so much like I remember when I was coming up, there was maybe one list that you posted and you were on that team. Now there's podcasts, there's agents, there's advisors. It's like, it's crazy how the market is and how much people make off this market. And I think there's a lot of bad people in it, but Ryan and Kate have done an excellent job. They're in it for the right reasons. They don't even have kids involved yet. They have 2 girls. Their little kid, Charlie's, I think 10. He's going to play in the brick tournament. They just see a hole in the whole market, and they've been doing an unbelievable job the last couple of years, and I'm happy to be a part of it this year.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you taking a couple minutes. I know we're running around a lot, so thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
Thanks.
So there's a little bit from Matt Gilroy. He actually mentioned to me that this was his first podcast, which is pretty interesting. But again, I was super appreciative to chat with him during this recording and then throughout the weekend. He had a lot of really awesome insights. It'd be great to have just a mic on talking with some of these guys throughout the weekend. But obviously there's a ton about his story that will resonate with a lot of guys, to go from, like you said, the EJHL to walking on to BU to becoming one of the best college players in the country, eventually going to the NHL, now coaching at Harvard. A super, full circle journey for him, going through all the different stages of playing hockey and being in all the different types of roles. It really shows what's possible if you stay patient and kind of let your good habits stack up over time. And obviously this isn't a story that always happens. It's not like every underdog story or every late bloomer story actually comes to fruition, but it's great to hear an example of one that does, and that's at such a high level like it was for Matt. One of the things that I really appreciated most was the small piece he talked about with recruiting. At a place like Harvard, obviously it's one of the top institutions in the world, like we said, but they have a baseline expectation before these players are even having a conversation about their hockey abilities. If you don't meet the academic standard, which has very little to do with hockey, if anything, you're simply not an option for them. And of course, this is an elite school, but the message applies everywhere in life generally. And it's something that we constantly stress on the podcast. Development should go way beyond just the hockey part. And that's what I really like about, some of these high level college programs that, enforce or have this high standard that these kids have to adhere to. It forces them to develop other parts of themselves that will make them more well-rounded and able to, get more opportunities in hockey and outside of hockey as they go through their own development journey. So, it's about how you can carry yourself and handle adversity and how you consistently show up every day to do the tasks that you're given. And that's what a lot of these high-end places really, really do. So that was kind of awesome to hear. And hopefully you guys found that stuff valuable. These kinds of stories and messages, and like I said, being there is what really kind of motivated me to want to get involved with the Matterhorn Fit All Path series that we're doing. And like I said in the last episode, that's going to be happening in Ontario, in Windsor in 2026, and then in Calgary and Montreal outside of that. And we're going to follow the same model. It's going to be elite competition, real development conversations, and it's all going to be centered around education and the stuff that we preach here every day. So if you want to be a part of that, whether you're a player or a coach or another program, just stay close to the PowerTech channels and obviously the Matterhorn Fit channels, BioSteel, and you'll find more information that's coming soon. You can go to the website links. I'll put them on the screen, MatterhornFitEvents.com. And you can kind of check out the different events that are going on there. So again, huge thanks to Matt Gilroy for jumping on. It was great to just get even the short piece of time that we did. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.